Hello everybody. Oh, woo, it's warm today. Woo. Warm today. Hot temps. But guess what? We still have about 90 days to grow things. About. Woo, so hot. About 90 days to grow things. So it's not too late to put things in the ground if you want to. And I just figured I would share with you a couple things. Hold on a minute. Hydrate. This is actually my husband's and I swiped it because my daughter has mine, but this is a Contigo jug, 24 ounces, and it's got this cool lid that snaps real closed. It does not open until you press this little button, and then the lip of the circle part, you know, the edge part of what you drink on is like a pop bottle, so it's easy to drink from, and I don't spill everywhere. I love it. So when it's hot, hydrate. Like every time you can think of it, hydrate. You cannot drink too much water when it's hot like this. So we still have about 90 days to grow things before the first hard frost. So we still have about 90 days to grow beautiful annuals. We have about 90 days still to put perennials in so they can get established before winter comes. It's not too late. And so today I got to shop for a client who wants a sunflower garden, who's a photographer. And right now, she said just the sunflowers. But it's like, I'm looking in my yard of what just sunflowers look like. And they got ugly legs. I don't like their legs. So I am adding some things into this design that she's not going to expect. And it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be wonderful. Now, she does have rabbits. She does have groundhogs. And she does have deer. So I'm going to develop the beds. Well, it's one bed. It's different, a little bit different sections. A couple different sections. But on the perimeter of the bed, so the deer and the rabbits are going to love sunflowers. They think they're delicious candy, like hostas would be. So what I'm going to do is the sunflowers will be in the inner section, and I'm going to put Smelly and Pokey plants on the exterior, on the perimeters. So what this is going to be is our annual herbs. Like I've got oregano and basil. I got pineapple oregano, or pineapple sage. I did get lavender. Lavender's a perennial. It'll come back next year. Oregano, once you plant oregano, once it's happy, it's usually going to come back again and again too. But it's going to give that smell barrier. So when the deer come up, the first things they do when there's something new especially is they sniff. They sniff. They get closer to sniff. And if it doesn't smell good, they might try to bite it, but it probably won't taste good. Or they might try and bite it, but the leaves might be pokey or coarse or nasty to them. So I have some Rudbeckia, black-eyed Susans. The leaves are really thick and coarse and like woody. So they're not going to want to eat those. When they come up, when their little noses come up, here come the little nose of the deer, and they're going to touch it, and they're going to back away. They're going to like, what is going on? So I've got the Rudbeckia, those are going to go in the bottoms. I've got some Heliopsis, it's going to go in the bottoms, that are similar to sunflowers, but again, it's going to kind of shield the feet of these super mammoth, Russian mammoth sunflowers. It's going to go around the bottoms of the sunflowers. It's going to give color down below, and with the sunflowers coming up, eventually they're going to have some color too. They're going to follow the sun as it goes through the sky, But these other flowers are not. They're going to stay put. And because the Heliopsis and the Rebecca are perennials, they're going to have time to get established, along with the lavender. So it'll be the smelly things toward the front, the pokey things toward the next layer, and the sunflowers are going to be able to grow in the middle. And right now, I have sunflower seedlings that are about a foot tall. Those will go in the very back. Those will be probably the first to bloom and grow out. And then I have some that are about 6 inches tall. They're going to come toward the front a little bit because they're going to need some more time to grow. And then I think I'm going to plant some seeds as well in front of those, or kind of like, I'm not scattering the seeds because the birds will eat them, but like in a scatter pattern around there, so they're going to grow up as well. Because if you stagger the plantings, you have different age plants going through the garden, it gives more interest. And so because eventually the sunflower heads, when they're facing the sun and they're happy, and they've got the petals on the outside, and all the inside, the big heads, those are florets. And they are gonna, each little floret, each little thing is a flower. They all need to get pollinated in order to actually make the sunflower seeds. So they're just shining like crazy. They're following the sun. The pollinators are coming. Do 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 do. And then as they age, after a certain point in time, their heads will start to droop a little bit, and then pretty soon they're going to really droop, and they're really, really going to droop, and the backs of the sunflowers are going to turn yellow. And at that point, if you want to, you can cut them right off, and you can dry them and use them for eating later or roasting, or you could give them to the birds or the squirrels in some other area. And then the next set is going to be coming up. So while they're droopy, this set is in front of them, and they're like do 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 do, and then in front of these do do do, second set is the third set, and they're still coming up, and they're just going to have like buds. Hey bud, hey bud, hey bud. But the whole point I was going to say today was about what deer don't like. They don't like smellies. They don't like pokies. I had some more deluxe designs for the client as well that had thistle, like garden thistle, not Canadian thistle, but garden thistle, and yucca, because those are really pokey, and some other pokey plants. There's one, I can't remember the name of it now. It's a blue flower, and it almost looks like little mini thistle flowers, but the leaves are all pokey too. And so again, the little deers come up and they go to touch it, and they're like, ooh. Or if they go to smell it, they're not going to like the smell of it. So the smelly pokies are going to go on the outside. I was going to put like more pretties on the inside, like in this deluxe design. It was going to be like purple cone flowers and other things that are going to attract the pollinators. But I think it's going to be fine with the Heliopsis and the other one, the black-eyed Susans. I think that's going to be fine for some color. And then the oregano is going to bloom. I picked up one milkweed. It's a white milkweed because I'm trying to stay within kind of those color schemes. The purple sage is going to get really big. It will have some red flowers, so I'm going to put those kind of in strategic locations. And the hummingbirds love those. So the vision I have for this client is, as she's photographing clients in the yard, that nature's still going on around them, and that she may be able to capture some of these fun, some fun scenes, some impromptu scenes. So if you need some flowers, there's a lot of sales going on. I am in the Van Tom's parking lot right now, Van Tom's greenhouses on 23 Mile, and that's east of 94 in the parking lot. And I'm finishing this up. They have compost too, and hay bales or straw bales. They have mulch, the brown and the black left over. I know it's hot right now. This heat is not going to last forever. There will be some cool breaks, so you could hang on to your plants until you're going to put them in the ground. And like I said, you've got almost 90 days still. So our super hard frost is about middle of October, unless you can cover them. You might be able to extend the gardens out a little bit more. But the cool thing is, I don't. Yes, I do. The really cool thing is, for example, this oregano, it has white flowers. White flowers? Yep. Whitish purple, I guess. And the bees love them. But do you see how thick it is? I could probably cut this in half at least. I probably can cut it in thirds once I take it out of the pot and get 3 plants or maybe 4 plants out of this that I can put in different places. They're smelly, but the pollinators love them, but the deer won't. They shouldn't love them because they're smelly. I don't think they love oregano. And because they're on sale, it's a bonus of a bonus because of how many plants I can get. So that's oregano. What else do I have back here? I can show you. Oh, yeah, this could work. There we go. Okay. So this is Thai basil. Thai basil. Oh gosh, it smells so good. Oh, it smells so good. Thai basil. And this one has purple flowers already. They're starting to bloom like crazy, and so as soon as I plant them, I'm going to snip the flowers off, and I'll probably cut them back even to like, see, like, no, you can't see from there. There's like where the leaves branch off. You can cut that off. I could probably even cut it all the way down to here, and then we're going to get 2 more stalks coming up when I cut this back here, like above these leaves. A couple more stalks of flowers will come up. But what's super cool is, I don't know if you can see the stems. There's 1, 2, 3, feel them with my fingers. There's 4 stems in here. So when I take it out of the pot, I will be able to divide these up and have 4 plants. And again, they were on sale. Woohoo! On sale! And there's 4 plants in here. And like I said, when I divide them up, there may be some root damage, a little bit of root damage from inside the pot. But like I said, I'm going to cut them back so far. And also, after I cut them back, I'm going to kind of scatter the clippings, the smelly clippings around the exterior as well, just to kind of like expand that scent zone. So those are 2 things I'm going to do. Divide them up. And put you back here somewhere. And I may be cutting off the flowers from the Rudbeckia and the Heliopsis. When I first plant them, I gotta take a look at it and feel it out from there. And then because so many of them are really dark green and leafy, or they are so floofy, like the oregano and the basil are so like floofy, there's so much going on with them. I got a couple they ended up being really big lamb's ear plants. This is like how big the pot is, and then the leaves are like this. So I may be able to split, I think I got 2 of those plants, but I may be able to split off at least, and split them in half at least, and spread those out. And those have like a silvery leaf. They're right back there, and you probably can't see them because they're so far back. I don't know if it will. Nope, it won't go back there. But lamb's ear have a really large silvery green leaf that's very fuzzy. And again, I don't think the deer like them either. I don't think they like the texture. They might try and take a bite, but they probably won't continue. And that'll happen a lot of times. Deer will try plants, and if they don't like it, they'll stop. They'll try something else. But right now, so much is growing. The chances of them even bothering this garden isn't as great as it would be if we planted in the fall or the early spring. And then the other part of this is going to be, I'm going to have the chief put in posts, T-posts. We'll have 5 T-posts in like a trapezoid kind of shape. I know there's 5, so pentagram shape. No, that's not what it is. 5 sides with the posts. And we're going to run the fishing line a foot from the ground, 2 foot from the ground, 3 foot from the ground, 4 foot from the ground. Just a little bit of barrier that the deer can't see and they'll get confused about. So when they come up on the wire, and if they press against the wire with their chest, they happen to run into it because they're like, oh, it's a beautiful plant, I'm going to come and try it. And they run into it, they'll get confused because they can't see it. And they'll back off. So that's my hope. The other part with the smelly stuff, and that'll just be temporary until at least until the sunflowers have a chance. So maybe when they're about 3-4 foot tall, and that would be in about 3 weeks, then we can think about taking the posts down. In the meantime, if my client wants to take photographs, she could still take photographs. She could probably strategically do it so that you can't see the posts. That's going to be the only downside. We're going to be one in front, one in the corner, and one in the corner for now because it's a long area in the front, and then just 2 in the back. And with fishing line, it should be good. And then one other thing I'm gonna try. No, 2 other things I'm gonna try. The first one is going to be Irish Spring soap. I went to the Master Gardener garden in Mount Clemens over at the Macomb County building, and they had the surgical masks folded over, and inside each surgical mask they were like hanging from little posts throughout the garden. But inside was like a sliver, like a bath soap size, like hotel soap size bar of Irish Spring soap. So they put them in the masks. They just hang them in the garden, and apparently animals don't like the smell of that. I know. I use that when I plant my bulbs for clients. I actually take a grater, a cheese grater out there, an old one. I don't use my household one, or my husband will have a cow. But I take a cheese grater out there, and as soon as I'm done planting my bulbs, I use the cheese grater to put slivers of the soap all around the bulb beds, and the squirrels don't dig them up, which is phenomenal. Very good. Good news. So I'll be using the Irish Spring soap. I may put them in mesh bags, but I think I'd rather grate them up so they're not seen. Like if I'm going to hang them, I could hang them like behind the herbs, or behind the Rudbeckia, the black-eyed Susans, or behind the Heliopsis. Again, more of a scent barrier. The other thing is, it's good. It would be good for chipmunks. What happens with chipmunks is when you plant things in the ground, your human scent is on those plants, and the chipmunks, they don't like the scent of humans, so they dig up the plants. But I suppose if you use that Irish Spring and grate it up when you're done, they're just not going to like the Irish Spring scent and not, they may leave it alone. I would rather do it that way than try like the Deer Be Gone or the Deer Away or the things that like wash away with the rain. Because to me, that's not lazy gardening. Lazy gardening is doing things that work. And not having to go out to the garden to protect it like all the time. If you have to go out there every couple days, like it poured over here apparently, which is good for the plants. But if they had deer spray around, then the deer spray would have washed off, and they're gonna have to reapply it again. And yeah, I'm not about that. I'm about the lazy gardening, not the everyday gardening like that. That's especially when it comes to protection. That's why I keep saying fences are your friends. That's why I say I'm available. I can help you build protection to your gardens in all kinds of different ways, so that you can just enjoy the fruit of your labor and you're not stressing all the time over the critters that may be doing damage to your yard. So the second thing I'm going to do, because I said I'd do this Pokey Smelly plants, we'll do the posts, the fishing line, I'm gonna do the Irish Spring around the perimeter, and then the final thing will be solar powered motion lights, motion sensor lights, and we can mount those on the T-posts, right on the T-posts, probably about 6 foot high. And this garden, the front of the garden does face southeast, does face southeast, and it's in a big clearing. So they'll get charged up just fine by the sun. And they're cool because anything that comes near the light just automatically comes on. It stays on for a little while, and then it goes off again. We have these all over the homestead, and they're very, very, very helpful. We have not had, knock on wood, we have not had deer problems. I have not seen deer damage in the yard, even in the front with all the stuff that's going on in the front. We have not seen so far, not seen deer damage. And I think part of it is the solar lights. We haven't seen, well, there may be raccoons or possums or whatever in the backyard. We haven't seen them. And I haven't seen damage from, I haven't seen things trying to eat the chickens. We have one, it's like right outside our bedroom window, but we usually pull the drapes, like we pull the shears and we pull the curtains, and they're like light blocking kind, but you can still see when it comes on and the light like shines around the outside of the window. And every now and then I'm curious and I gotta pull it back and see. And usually it's the cat. It might be a rabbit. But again, that light comes on and it kind of startles the animal. I don't know if they get used to it or not. I'm not worried about it that much. But what I want to do, the whole point of all of this, is to protect those sunflowers until they get a chance to grow up a little bit more. Because when they're tender seedlings, I mean, a deer, this is a sunflower here, a deer comes down, they put their mouth on it, they pull it, and it comes right out of the ground. There's no roots to keep it in the ground, there's no structure, anything like that. Now, if the sunflower is, 3-4 feet high, and it's just got leaves coming out on the sides, and the deer come and chomp a leaf, that's not going to make a big difference. But what I'm hoping is the deer don't get to that inner sanctum for a while, that they're not interested. And I'm hoping that other critters like rabbits will get the smells and not want to bother going further into there either. So anyway, that is what's going on here, and that's why I wanted to go on live and to let you know what the plan is for this client's garden. And of course I'll put pictures up and stuff, and I'll report back on how it's working. So once you say, hey Tam, yes, I like what you've got going on, I like the design you give me, that's when you give me half deposit. I go out and I buy your plants. I go around town. I only had to go to 2 places right now. I have sunflowers growing at home, but I only had to go to 2 stores to get the fill-in materials. I might go to 1 more. I might go to Denowitz and see what they've got there. But I've got a whole car full of plants, so I have to drop them off. I'm not going to leave them in the car. That's why I've got the air conditioning going too. But I would be the one that goes around town to find the things that you're looking for. Or I'm the one that's going to order them online for you. And I'm going to pay for them. And I'm going to wait for them to come. And I'm going to inspect the packages and unpackage them. And I'm going to nurture them until it's time to put in your garden. I've got compost. Composted cow manure, because I'm not positive. This is a newer area to me of the client's yard. So I'm not positive what the soil is like there. I do ask that you weed the area before I come out, and I will bring all your beautiful plants. I'll bring my tools, and I'll bring my crew, and anything else that we need, any supplies that we might need. I do ask to weed. I do ask that you have your water ready, or watering cans ready, so that when you, when we leave, when we do all the cleanup, you can do the maintenance, getting these plants established, and make sure that they've got enough water, but not too much. Make sure if there's any if there's any leaves that die off, like toward the bottom from like transplant shock or from overwatering or whatever might be going on. Maybe it's been too hot, the sun scorched some leaves, that you can clip those off. And again, let that healthy tissue be growing. You can be the one that is monitoring the critters and making sure. You may have to come out at least every day for the first week at least, and come out and see, is something eating my stuff? And what is it particularly eating? And also think about, what are they not eating? And if you're growing things that the critters are not eating, keep growing those and grow more of those, or more of those types, or use those plants as the perimeter. I hear a lot of good things about rhubarb. I hear people can grow rhubarb on the outsides of their gardens without protection, and they don't have any problem. They look like hostas. They have that same kind of large leaf, large plant, like prehistoric look, but they love the sun, whereas hostas don't. But what loves hostas are deer. So if you were going to go for that look, that hosta look, you might try rhubarb. But again, think about what they're eating, what's delicious to them, what seems delicious, and what is not. Now, a groundhog over at Shadbush Gardens, they have an inner sanctum that's protected against the deer, and then the outside is deer resistant. But it's not groundhog resistant necessarily. They said they planted zinnias or marigold or something along those lines, and the groundhog had come, grabbed the flower, pulled, and took off with it. So, there's no guarantees in life. I mean, we could have grasshopper swarms come in and eat all your stuff. I don't know. We could have caterpillars come and eat everything. And if it's not milkweed, it's not a monarch, and it's going to be some other kind of caterpillar. I don't know. But when I plant them, I'm going to guarantee that these plants I'm putting in are healthy. They're going to be planted appropriately. And if you need, if your soil needs supplementing, like that's why I'm bringing the compost and manure, I'm going to get that in there. Sometimes I can just spread the good stuff out and then just incorporate it as we dig the holes and put the plants in. Other times, the one garden in Ann Arbor, it was such clay soil, we had to make the hole larger than the plant needed, backfill with the compost, and then put the plant in the center so it didn't get too much water all the time from the rain, like a clay pot. So those are the things that I guarantee. I don't guarantee the critters will not eat it, because I'll do what I can, and I'll also make recommendations about how to keep the critters away. The best thing you can do is get rid of the critters beforehand if you can. So with deer, it might mean finishing your fencing. With groundhogs, it might mean plugging up holes in your yard or getting traps. With chipmunks, it might mean that 5-gallon bucket with the sunflower seeds in water and the boards where they run up and they say, "Oh, sunflower seeds," and they jump in and they can't swim. It sounds cruel, but you may want to get rid of the critters in your current area. Maybe you put feeders out, 100 yards away, far enough away that they're happy and they're not going to bug your garden area. But why would you want to keep dealing with that all the time? And so if you are paying me to build you a garden, to go shopping for your plants, to bring them safely to your place, to plant them in a healthy way and keep them healthy until we plant, and then a critter comes and eats them all, that's sad. I would hate for that to happen. I'm a plant lover, but I don't want to spend all that time building you a beautiful garden for critters to eat them. And when you come out the next day to look at your beautiful garden, you don't want to be all horrified to see that your plants are, half gone from critters, or dug up entirely, or there's more holes in the ground. So sometimes it sounds cruel, but I really want you to succeed. I want you to be able to enjoy what's in your yard. Enjoy the views, enjoy what's in your yard. Eat what you grow if you're growing food. Encourage pollinators to come in for the wildlife, because if you look around, there are not a lot of pollinating gardens anymore. I mean, I'm just looking now. I can look at the fronts of houses. A lot of fronts of houses and backs of houses are just bare. A lot of the plants that you buy, like at the nurseries, the seasonal plants, they're not pollinating plants. I've not personally seen a pollinator come to a geranium. I've not seen a pollinator come to what's that shade plant? Oh, I think he's closing up. The shade plant, impatiens. I have not seen pollinators come to them. Maybe hoverflies, but I haven't seen butterflies come to them, or hummingbirds. Maybe they do. So some of the stuff you get is really, really gorgeous, but it's not really for pollinators. Roses are gorgeous and they smell really well, but that's not really a pollinator-friendly plant, as much as some of the other plants can be. So this has been today's Facebook Live. This is Tammy Lowe, the Lazy Northern Gardener, and it's a Tuesday. But when I'm doing this kind of stuff, to me, it feels like it's a Saturday or a vacation day or whatever it might be. And I've already put in my 8 hours of regular work, and I laid down and tried to nap. No, because my brain was like garden. There was stuff in my mind that I wanted to write down and think about and research on. So the nap did not happen, but maybe I'll go to bed a little early tonight. Depends on what time the chickens actually want to go to bed, I guess. But it's Tammy Lowe, the Lazy Northern Gardener. If you want my services, you're on my page. You can send me a message. You could go to my website. You can visit me on YouTube, the YouTube channel, and I'm on Instagram. And I do have some stuff on Pinterest. Not a whole lot, not yet. And I'm not on TikTok. Probably won't go on TikTok, but I might share TikTok videos on my page. I hope also that you are enjoying the different permaculture yards, the links to permaculture yard videos that I'm sending you for places that are small, relatively very small. Some are less than an acre, some are like 40 by 100 or 40 by 60, and people are doing the permaculture concepts, and it's just very exciting when you can fill your yard with things you can eat, the wildlife that you want can eat, things you can share, you can grow, you can share with your neighbors, your family, your friends, the homeless, the gleaners, you name it, the food banks and churches and other civic organizations. You're just contributing, and it's just, I don't know, it just feels good. I have heard it said that in other countries, when people are really feeling down, they tell them, they order them, like a physician order, not like a dictator order, but like a physician order, that they have to go help people, other people. And when they go help other people, their mentality shifts and changes, because they're not just focused on themselves. They're not, just really involved in me. Now they're helping other people that are less fortunate than them or that need a hand up, and they are reaching out to other people. So they're not doing this, mine, they're doing this. And it really helps the psyche to do this. So that's all. I love you guys. I hope you are learning and growing. I hope you planted one more thing. And there's plants on sale. You could plant one more thing. Just one more. They're on sale. And a lot of times the nurseries, this is sad. The nurseries, if it gets too hot, they might just throw them away. And that would be terrible, because you still have almost 90 days to grow things and enjoy them. This summer is not over. Not by a long shot. All right. I love y'all. And I'll see you next time. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.